All of you, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Uh, this is a second chapter I am going to teach you now. Second chapter in the third semester. Second chapter, that is teaching of grammar. Teaching of grammar. What is a grammar? First of all, we should know about what is a grammar. See, yellow letters are there. In the yellow letters, the sentence is there.
Grammar is the
Grammar is
is
the body of rules that establish what is right and what is wrong. What is right and what is wrong in English. See, what is right and what is wrong in English, how can we know? Through the grammar only. Through the grammar only we can know that what is right and what is wrong in English language. Okay. English language is a foreign language. Okay. Our mother tongue is our mother Telugu here in northern states. Their mother tongue is some Hindi, Marathi, and some other. Okay. Here mother tongue is Telugu. We learn our Telugu language unconsciously. We learn our Telugu language unconsciously and without putting any effort. Okay. Uh, Easily we can learn our mother tongue and natural way of learning our mother tongue. Okay. In English language, we have to put some effort and conscious, be conscious to learn the English language. Okay. Anyway, in English, suppose in Telugu, what is grammar? You see, uh, నిన్న వెళ్తాను, రేపు వచ్చాను. Is it correct?
no, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Grammar mistake. Okay. నిన్న వెళ్తాను, నిన్న వెళ్తాను, రేపు వచ్చాను. See, not after the verb. Okay. Conjugation, that called conjugation. Okay. We should have conjugation and we should establish the relation between the subject and the verb. Okay. Subject must agrees with the verb. Okay. అలాగే ఒకడు చేశారు, ఇద్దరు చేశాడు అంటే ఇక్కడ ప్లోరల్నేమో ఇండికేట్ చేస్తున్నామో సింగులర్ని ఇండికేట్ చేస్తూ వర్బ్ సబ్జెక్ట్ని సింగులర్ వర్బ్నేమో ప్లోరల్ కింద, ప్లోరల్ వర్బ్ని ఏమో సింగులర్ కింద, సింగులర్ వర్బ్ని యూజ్ చేసాం అనుకో, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఎ రైట్. ఓకే. సో గ్రామర్ టెల్స్ us what is right and what is wrong in English. Okay. The next sentence you can see there. It is a total set of signals. It is the total set of signals by which a given language expresses its meaning. మనకి we should express right meaning. We should express the right meaning. Suppose the meaning is different, that work will not be done properly. Okay. Okay. Meaning should be well in manner and convey good meaning. It guides about correct language. It guides about correct language. Who guides about correct language? Grammar guides us correct language to speak. Another important feature that grammar, it is a descriptive science. It is a descriptive science which describes the structure of sentences, describe the structure of sentences, function of words, and their relation to one another. To one another. At a particular and of a particular group of people. See, grammar is a descriptive science. Then let's see need and importance of teaching grammar. Need and importance of teaching grammar. The grammar is a theory that is intended that explain the rules of a language. Intended to explain the rules of a grammar. Some rules are there. Some rules are there. Subject must agrees with the verb. Subject must agrees with the verb. See, it is the ways that words can be put together in order to make sentences. Many rules are there. Many rules are there. See patterns, different patterns, question pattern, answer pattern, and some other patterns. Sentences. How many types of sentences are there? We have How many types of sentences are there? Anyone can say? Anyone can say how many types of sentences are there? Statement, negative sentence, interrogative sentence, and
Questioning.
uh, four types of sentence are there. One is statement. The earth is round. The earth is round in shape. No one can change it. Square has four sides. No one can change it. Your name is Shruti. No one can change. My name is Hemant. It is a see declarative sentence, and see negative sentence. I am not a Hemant Kumar. And see exclamation, and their next commands and requests. Four types of sentence are there. See, to convey our feelings, thoughts, and etc. In the words, see, it is the ways that words can be put together in order to make sentences. In other words, it is a it is a wait book that describes the rules of a language. It is a book that describes the rules of a language. The next, see, in the teaching of a language, grammar has an important place. It has a lot of value. It enables the learner to utilize the language correctly and efficiently. Grammar. Grammar is the body of rules that establish what is right and what is wrong in English. Grammar is the body of rules that establish what is right and what is wrong in English. It is a total set of signals by which a given language expresses its meaning. Okay, some other explanation about the grammar. Grammar guides us about correct language. It is a descriptive science which describes the structure of sentences, function of words, and their relation to one another at a particular period and as a particular group of people. Some view grammar emphasizing the theoretical rules, while some other emphasize the working knowledge. But while speaking a language, we are more conscious about conveying a meaning. See, very important here. While speaking a language, while speaking a language, we are more conscious about conveying a meaning rather than speaking correctly. Rather than speaking correctly. Convey the meaning, what you are going to express, convey the right meaning. Okay. We do not give importance to the grammar. We do not give importance to the grammar in the beginning. While you are learning the language, we do not give importance to the grammar. If we become conscious of whether we grammatically correct while we are speaking, we will never be able to speak at all. Okay, we should give first convey our meaning in a proper way. Convey our meaning proper way rather than speaking correctly. See, do not give importance to the grammar at the beginning. After some time, after gaining the knowledge of speaking, we can correct our speaking, correct our grammar. Okay. The next, modern English is a living language. Modern English is a living language, and one cannot learn it by fixed rules at one go. A language has to be learnt in the spoken form first, and the reading and writing will follow later. See, language has to be learnt in the spoken form first. We may speak first, amma, amma, okay, atta, amma, akka, atta, amma. In this way, simple words we may speak, and that is an imitation. We think that he says amma, tata. He get to know using the language in the beginning. It is imitation. It is only imitation. Amma. Amma. He says Amma, Amma. He says it is an imitation because language is an imitation. Because language is an imitation. Through the imitation, one can learn the language. See, child imitates in the beginning. Child imitates in the beginning of learning the language. Natural way, unconsciously, without putting any effort, he imitates first. In the same way, English language also, we imitate first. We imitate first. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. In this way, some patterns of the language we have to speak. I'm good at English. I can use it. I can go now. I can work now. I will do now. I had done. I had done my work. Some of the patterns we should practice. I do not have work now. I do not eat now. Negative sentences, exclamatory sentences. What a beautiful scenery it is. Sit down. Go there. Shut up. Should not talk. The commands. Request. Could you please give me one glass of water? In this way, these are the patterns we should learn. Grammar is full of rules and it is quite unnatural to teach any language by rules. See, grammar is full of rules and it is quite unnatural to teach any language by rules. We know that we do not learn our mother. Okay, all of you.
Sir.
Okay, some disturbance. Can you see now, all of you? Can you see
Yes, sir.
any slide? Can you see? Slide is there?
Let's slide.
Slide.
No,
sir.
sir.
Okay, wait. Can you look now? Can you see now? Slide is there. All of you. Can you look? Slide now.
Sharing
sir.
వస్తుంది సార్.
Can you look there? Modern English is a living language. All of you can look there.
Yes, sir.
Slide. Yes, okay.
Yes, sir.
I said some disturbance got now. Anyway, we are continuing now. We know that we do not learn our mother tongue by rules but by practice. We learned our mother tongue by practice only, without putting any effort, without learning by the rules. We did not learn any rules while we are learning our Telugu language, our mother tongue, isn't it? Okay, it is clear that we learn our mother tongue most naturally and unconsciously. Most naturally and unconsciously. In the same way, English language also, we should learn naturally and unconsciously also. We should practice some patterns of language, some patterns of the language. According to that, we can, with the imitation, doing some imitation. Doing some imitation means we have to listen more English language. Listen stories, listen news, and read stories, some other. Okay, in this way one can improve their English language. Place and importance of English grammar. Place and importance of English grammar. Learning grammar is essential for a student to use the language efficiently and correctly. Use the language efficiently and correctly. Grammar taught in our schools because point 1, students have a natural tendency to rationalize and analyze what they learn. Students have a natural tendency to rationalize and analyze what they learn. Second point, students will be helped by rules and generalizations in consolidating and remembering what they have learned. Types of grammar. we have some types of grammar. There are two types of grammar. There are two types in the grammar. There are two types in the grammar. The first one, formal grammar. First one is formal grammar. The next functional grammar. First one is formal grammar. The next one is functional grammar. The first formal grammar, also called as a prescriptive grammar. The first one is also called prescriptive grammar, and also called as theoretical grammar, and also called as a theoretical grammar, and also called as a traditional grammar. The formal grammar has three names: theoretical grammar, traditional grammar, prescriptive grammar. Okay, total four names are there for formal grammar, prescriptive grammar, theoretical grammar, and traditional grammar. And traditional grammar. See, the next functional grammar. The functional grammar has also some other name, descriptive grammar, also called descriptive grammar and incidental grammar. Functional grammar also called as descriptive grammar and incidental grammar. Three names it has: functional grammar, descriptive grammar, incidental grammar. Now let you know about formal grammar. Let you know about formal grammar. What is a formal grammar? Formal grammar is that which is taught in a formal way. That which is taught in a formal way. It is also called prescriptive grammar because it prescribes rules. Because it prescribes rules. That's why it is called prescriptive grammar. And it is also theoretical grammar, which speaks about definitions and rules. Which speaks about definitions and rules. That's why theoretical grammar. It is very traditional in nature. That's why it is called as traditional grammar. So particular sentence is right or wrong. It tells whether the particular sentence is right or wrong. Some features are there in the formal grammar. Let you know, all of you. It follows the classical tradition. It follows the classical tradition. It emphasizes the importance of written language as the basis of grammar. It emphasizes the importance of written language as the basis of grammar. Next, it lays down laws which cannot be broken. It lays down laws which cannot be broken. Some of the laws are there which cannot be broken. It presents language in a logical order. It presents language in a logical order. Next, it demands strict adherence to established rules. Then next, it does not encourage any kind of deviation. It does not encourage any kind of deviation from the standards set, and any such kind of a deviation is regarded ungrammatically. See, it does not encourage any such type of deviation regarded ungrammatically. Then next, it encourages the ability to describe the language. It encourages the ability to describe the language. It encourages what is encourages formal grammar. Formal grammar encourages ability to describe the language. It encourages in the treating of grammar on deductive lines, treating of grammar on deductive lines, that is giving that rules first and then the examples next. Rules first and examples next. Deductive means anti-clockwise. Deductive means anti-clockwise. Suppose we may count numbers in the inductive means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This is the inductive method. Deductive means come from the 10 to backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is the deductive process. Deductive means coming back to the front, anti-clockwise. See, this formal grammar follows the deductive method, deductive lines, deductive Then first giving rule, then next examples. First giving rule, then next examples. This is not a natural way. This is not natural method. This is not a natural method. Okay. Inductive method means not a natural method. Not a natural method. Next, descriptive or functional grammar. Descriptive or functional grammar. It is also called as incidental grammar. It is also called as incidental grammar. It is learnt by the students unconsciously. It is learnt by the students unconsciously. Say they're learning while they are learning the language. Learning the language comes first. Learning the language comes first, and rules and regulations come later. This is the natural way of learning the language. Grammar is an integral part of their knowledge. Grammar is an integral part of their knowledge. It deals with the usage of the language and believes in giving a number of examples. Giving a number of examples. Giving number of examples first. The next rule. See, it gives more importance to the practice rather than to rules to enable the peoples require the knowledge of correct usage unconsciously. Usage of technical terminology is not important. Usage of technical terminology is not important here. The salient features of the functional grammar are it encourages the ability to use the language. It encourages the ability to use the language. He is a master. He is a lecturer. He is a farmer. Say, he is a, she is a tailor. She is a teacher. It is a bench. It is a book. Those are boys. Those are books. That is a pen. This is a pencil. That is a eraser. Those are those are players. Those are playing. In this way, some patterns is, he is, she is, it is. See, after the third person, I am using is, continuously coming is. They never say he, he are, he is, she is, it is. I am saying in this way. He would not say that plural. He would not use the B form of plural B form. Here, it is wrong. It gives some sense. It gives some sense to him. Number of times he is, it is, she is. We are emphasizing in this way. We are giving practice in this way. He is, she is, it is. In the third person, we are using S form and using the singular form, singular verb, singular B form. They cannot say he are, she are, it are in this way. Okay, it sends some of the wrong, it indicates some wrong, gives some wrong indication. So cultivating the habit of using this descriptive grammar, it encourages the ability to use the language. It describes the functioning of words in a sentence. It describes the functioning of words in a sentence. It deals with the uses of language and offers a number of concrete illustrations. Number of concrete illustrations. First examples, then next infer the rule. First giving number of examples. From them, infer the rule. Practice is more important than knowing the rules. Practice is more important than knowing the rules. Correct usage is learned unconsciously. Correct usage is learned unconsciously because giving number of examples. Because giving number of examples. Through that, they can learn unconsciously. The learner can learn unconsciously. This is a natural method. It encourages the inductive links of treating grammar. It encourages inductive links to treating grammar. Inductive links. Inductive means I said from the ground roots onwards, learning from the ground roots onwards. From 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8, 9, and 10. In this way, inductive way, clockwise. Clockwise. Number of examples are given first and the rules of grammar come later. Number of examples are given first, and rules of grammar next. That is, the definitions are divided from the illustrations. Definitions are the divided as illustrations. The practice is that of going from known to unknown. Practice going from known to unknown, and concrete to abstract. Known to unknown, unknown means we know apples, we know balls. Apples, we show one apple. It is an apple. We say it is an apple. Number of apples. Excuse me. Suppose suppose showing number of apples. Those are apples. These are apples. Away from us means we can say those are apples. Near to us means these are apples. Suppose we are showing one pencil. It is a pencil. Say number of pencils are there. These are pencils. These are pencils using verb be form, changing the plural be form. Okay. In this way, number of giving it, these are books, those are books. In this way, number of examples we are giving, and they can learn unconsciously, and concrete to abstract. We can show this is an apple, showing the apple object, showing the object and sound, and establishing the bond between the sound and apple, sound and object, sound and object, establishing the concrete bond between the uh, object and sound. That is, it is an apple, it is an apple. He never says that it is a flower, it is a red flower. He would not say, my teacher said it is an apple. It becomes strong, concrete. Suppose abstract, I am thirsty, I am thirsty. He do not know what is it. Thirsty means drinking water. Drink water. We need water. Need water to drink. Abstract thinking. Would not get abstract thinking at the beginning and the primary stage. So, concrete to abstract. Go. It descriptive grammar goes through concrete to abstract, and the same way known to unknown. Known to unknown. Then next we have methods of teaching grammar. Then next we have methods of teaching grammar. Okay, in my next class I would like to teach you the methods of teaching grammar. Methods of teaching grammar. Today I explained about what is grammar. Today I explained about what is teaching of grammar. Teaching of grammar. See, I explained about that grammar is the body of rules that establish what is right and what is wrong in English. Then next, the grammar also called as descriptive grammar, descriptive science. It is a descriptive science. Then next, the need and importance of teaching grammar. What is the need and importance of teaching grammar? The grammar is a theory that is intended to explain the rules of a language. Intended to explain the rules of a language. And also, it is a book that describes the rules of a language. The next you see, in the teaching of a language, grammar has an important place. Grammar has an important place. It has a lot of value. It has a lot of value. It enables the learner to utilize the language correctly and efficiently. See, grammar. Once again, body of rules. Grammar is the body of rules that establish what is right and what is wrong in English. Okay, then. See, next, I said, grammar guides us about correct language. About correct language. When the language is correct, we can convey correct meaning, correct feeling, correct thought. Perception is good. It is a descriptive science which describes the structure of sentences, function of words, function of words and their relation and one another, particular period. See, tells us the time. It tells us the time. I went there. That means completed action. I studied. That is completed action. I was there. నేను అక్కడ ఉన్నాను. I was there. I would be there. అక్కడ ఉంటాను. See, tells the time and action. As a particular group of people, some view grammar emphasizing the theoretical rules, while some other emphasize the working knowledge. While speaking a language, we are more conscious about conveying a meaning rather than speaking correctly. See, more conscious about the conveying meaning rather than speaking correctly. See, important is here that is we do not give importance to the grammar at the beginning. Use the language first. Speak something, whether it is correct or wrong. If we become conscious of whether we grammatically correct while we are speaking, we will never be able to speak at all. We must not conscious about the grammar at the beginning, whether we are conveying the meaning or not. Just look, we are conveying right meaning or not. We should not keep it in our mind about the grammar. Next, modern English is a living language. Excuse me. Modern language is a living language, and one cannot learn it by fixed rules at one go, because we did not learn our mother tongue with learning grammar rules and etc. We learned our language, we learn our mother tongue unconsciously in natural way, unconsciously and natural way. With the next I said types of grammar techniques, teaching of grammar. There are two types of grammar. There are two types of grammar. One is formal grammar. Other one is functional grammar. One is all of you can open our mics, unmute our mics, all of you. I would like your response. All of you open our mics. All of you unmute.
Sir.
Okay. We have two types of grammar. We have two types of grammar, Anusha and some other unmute. Okay, then there are two types of grammar. Some distance is there. Okay, there are two types of grammar, formal grammar and functional grammar. Now,
Functional grammar.
functional grammar and formal grammar and functional grammar. Formal grammar has another three types of names: traditional grammar, prescriptive grammar, and theoretical. Formal grammar also known as theoretical grammar, traditional grammar, prescriptive grammar. Prescriptive grammar. Because it prescribes the rules. That's why it is also called as a prescriptive grammar. Theoretical grammar. It tells some theories and rules, definitions of rules. That's why it is also called as a theoretical grammar. See, and also traditional grammar and old grammar. It is the oldest. It is the oldest. That's why it is called traditional grammar. And some second one is descriptive grammar, functional grammar. Functional grammar also called as descriptive grammar, incidental grammar. Okay, we learned today all this. I would like to conclude today's lesson. Now, I would like to continue in my class, in my next class. Okay, then until then, all of you, bye. Just
Thank you.
read one all of the